Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, you guys are set up. Sam, thank you for being here, sir.
Yeah, buddy.
Hopefully we'll have some more people file in. And Donna is the host today. Sam,
Cool.
Donna, Sam.
Hey, Donna.
And I will be back in about 15 minutes or so. I'm just meeting somebody and doing a quick handoff. But the floor is yours, Sam.
Cool. Donna,
Donna, you may have to do if you can allow Sam to share screen. I don't know if that's something he wants to do. Do you want to double check to make sure you can do that real fast?
Yeah, it's just without yeah. I think it's the security button.
Yep, got it.
Cool. All right, excellent. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome. All right, guys, take it away.
Cool. All right, cool. So yeah, you guys can see my screen, correct? Got some crazy stuff going on.
We can see it.
Cool. And how many people do we have in the room? We have a good bit, right? You get this rocking and rolling. All right, cool. Awesome. So what I have kind of prepared to kind of talk about, and we had discussed this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I was on with all of you for the PC program, is when we look at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, we talk about what it takes to have a database, right? And the biggest thing is, first you have to have it. We have to create a database. We have to feed it. You know, we have to add more people to it. But one of the key things that we have inside of the lead generation model inside of the MREA is this idea of segmenting your database. And the goal behind this is that if we can kind of break your database down into common groups, we're able to market to it in a much greater aspect. So I have a slide deck kind of prepared to kind of walk through different ways that whether you're using command or different database, these concepts apply regardless of technology. But I would love to have more of a mastermind conversation around this. So if you can, please take yourself off of mute. Please participate at a high level. And if you can, share your video. It'd be great to kind of see all of you and kind of really dig through this as we kind of go through it. So can you guys do that? Go ahead and take yourself off mute, take yourself off of, or add yourself to video. Appreciate it. Thank y'all. Cool. So let me dig into this. Excellent. So you guys can see the command tags forward screen that's up. Thanks,
Yes.
Donna. Right on. So the important thing is really segmenting your database. And does anyone know why that's important? Why is it important that we, you know, if we have a database of 1,000 people, why it's important to separate them into smaller segments or groups?
Maybe for specific campaigns, you could target certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes marketing a lot easier if we can break it down per group. What else?
Maybe, I don't know, when you're making calls and you're nurturing people, there might be certain topics that would come up in those conversations if you had common interests. For example, a sports team or a college or youth sport or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're doing is we're creating systems within the system, right? When you think about it, what we're going to do is break down what is overall a large group and funnel that down into smaller systems. So yeah, absolutely. So I want to mastermind with that with you guys today. So for those of you who don't have a large database or, you know, even a small one, how do we break that down to which we can build it up to a much larger sustainable segmented database? Is it fair to say that your entire database, I'm going to keep using that number of 1,000 people, are all 1,000 people created equally?
No.
No. You're going to have some favorites. You're going to have what we call your sphere of influence, you know, your past clients. They're going to get treated differently from that random internet Facebook lead that you may have got. You're going to communicate and talk to them differently. In the age of technology or the age of like the new consumer, people are expecting that one-to-one touch. And if you're just sending communication out to your entire database and not segmenting it, they're going to get frustrated with you and just feel like you're spamming them. The goal with tagging it is we can have much more impactful conversations based on what we know about them and what they like and, you know, their personality too. So I want to help just kind of spark the idea with a couple systems that you can use to tag your database. And again, for me, I use it for command. Hopefully you are too, but you can use the same principles today and put them into any database. Cool. So this is where we're going to get fun. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to skip through that. So I call this the top 10 tags for your database. And what I want to share with you is these aren't necessarily top 10 tags, but these are some of the top 10 categories that you can use to create your tags for your own personal database. So there's going to be a chance that my database and your database does not look the same. Our tags should not look the same. But the goal here is to spark conversation so that you can have some ideas on how you may want to use tags within your database. Sound good? Okay, I got a head shake from Ebony. I appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. So the first bucket, if you will, the first category is location. So if I'm lead generating and I'm talking to my database and we are in real estate, I may be having conversations about a buyer's need. One of the buckets or one of the categories I may use would be what is their need or what is their want based on location. So again, location, if you guys understand how this works, location is what I'm going to share with you. But the actual tag I'm going to put on a particular client would be on the water, waterfronts, near 400, near whatever, away from whatever. What are some other things that you may tag your database with based on location, or what are you currently tagging your database with based on location?
I have everybody, they're just in there.
Yeah.
Like I need to spend a lot of time kind of just housekeeping and cleaning up because that makes a lot more sense. I feel like I'm all over the place when it comes to organization with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's important too, and I hate to go down these rabbit holes because I'm really good at them with technology. But I like to compare what Keller Williams is doing based on the leaders of business. And I'm not meaning like another real estate company or like even Zillow. But when you look at Keller Williams, we're copying Amazon, we're copying Netflix, we're copying Apple. We're trying to run their plays and attach that to our industry. So true or false, or true or true, my Amazon account and your Amazon account look exactly the same. We can both right now, everyone in this room, go to Amazon.com, and I can guarantee you that not all of us have the same Amazon.com. There is not a homepage for Amazon.com. And it's because Amazon has a really, really strong database. Now, given theirs is really, really strong with technology and there's no human connected to it, but they're able to segment their database so strongly that when I log in, I see specifically what Sam Jackson needs to see. And that's different from, the billions of people that use Amazon on a daily basis. We need to create that same type of atmosphere inside our own database. So I may not know what it is they shop for online. However, if I'm having conversations with them based on real estate and their needs, I can tag them as such in my database. Now, there is probably a copycat Sam Jackson out there. There's probably somebody that logs into Amazon and has a very similar Amazon experience like I do. And yet we're treating them differently within the database. Netflix might be a better example. There are far less products on Netflix. There's just certain movies. But when I log into Netflix, it says, here's what you recently looked at. Here's what we're going to suggest to you next. And that's based on the shows I'm watching today. We're going to create that type of bucket and filter our people into, hey, we're just going to direct you based on everything we know about you into this one funnel and make these recommendations. And the reason why this is so powerful is imagine that we're able to tell people, hey, here's a great opportunity for you. Here's the house that could be your dream home based on what I know about you as a person versus, hey, let me set you up an entire search for all of Georgia because I don't know you as a person. And we missed the mark. So the opportunity here is that we can leverage technology to get into really, really strong relationships because we know our people. Tags is going to be the most human way that you can do this. So let me ask the question again. So based on some of the conversations or even hypotheticals, what would be some of the tags that you could use from this category of location? And I gave you, on the water, waterfront. What else?
Like that.
What else?
Would you sort them by county?
You can do by county. Yeah, that would be a great one. Yeah, Fulton, Forsyth.
Right.
That's really smart. I haven't actually heard that one before. That makes a lot of sense.
Maybe in town.
ITP, OTP. Yeah. Yeah.
So Sam, I hope this is not a silly question, but I'm kind of coming from the same angle that Ebony is with starting and doing the database and making it make sense. So with all the contacts that are in the database, we need to individually go through each one and create its own separate identity tag. And that tag later on, whenever we want to go and pull up a search or send out something, it's just kind of gonna assimilate everybody together. But we need to go through each record beforehand just to make this make sense, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So to put that in perspective, so to use that Amazon example, right? Let's just
Mm-hmm.
say I can't remember the last thing I bought, probably a book, right? So there's probably so perfect example. The last thing I bought on Amazon was the How to Be an Anti-Racist book. There's probably millions of people who have bought that book who fit that category now on Amazon. We need to do the same thing within real estate. It may not be that specific as a product, but what we can do is say, here's all the people within my database that are interested in the golf course community. So I would have this tag golf course community. And the next time that I either have a listing or I see something hit the market that is fitting this need, it makes it easier to communicate with that group of, hey, I just want you to know that I am a student of real estate. I was looking at the homes that hit the market today. I saw this one on whatever golf course and it made me think of you. That personal message that sounds super, super personal could go out to 500 people in your database.
Okay.
And it's having that high impact touch because we hit them so personal.
Right. Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
So the goal is we're gonna put them in buckets so that we can maximize a really, really personal touch, but that personal touch is really out to the masses.
Okay.
Cool. And I think you'll get the hang of this as the more you go through this. But let's go ahead and jump on to the next one. The next one here would be amenity. So I gave you the golf course one. You can't steal that one. But the bucket would be, okay, here are some of the amenities. We have golf, we have tennis. What are some other things that you may tag your database with?
Maybe like can you put like Silver Comet Trail and stuff like that, or like trails that might be close or close to stadium?
Yeah. So for me, and again, this is me, all databases are a little bit different. I probably wouldn't go specifically with an amenity. So like I wouldn't name the trail itself, but I would say like walking or trails.
Trail. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way there, if location changes, you can still hit that person and tie in a touch that way. What else? That's a good one. That's important for me. I love walking the trails.
So when you're doing your tags, are you separate? When you say amenity, are you putting them in based upon the specifications of one of your clients? Or let's just say that somebody just, if it does not have a pool, I don't want it. Like, I just want to make sure I'm.
Yeah. So if that person is looking for a pool, I would tag them as pool. That's something they're looking for.
Okay. Is
Now,
that too specific or not?
I was going to say, you may have to get more specific because there's a pool that belongs on your property and there's also a community pool.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have to have, like, for me, if I had to break that down, I would say in-ground pool. And I would, even if it's above ground, I would still use that as like meaning that it's on the property. And then I would just leave pool, like pool as community pool.
Okay.
But again, I'm here to generate ideas. I don't want to share my database on with yours, but you can, whatever makes sense to you and how you would organize that and how you would break that down, that's how you could tag it. What else? That's a good one. Pool's a really good one.
Would you do like,
About kids.
I was going to say that, like, I was thinking school zones, but I didn't know how, that's so broad. Like, that is, would that be like a county thing too? Like, even if you wanted to.
It could be. So again, I'm giving ideas with the categories here with like location and amenity. You may have these things that may fit both. Like, don't worry about fitting the bucket, but just start thinking about tags. School would be like, yeah, Roswell High School, or, you know, whatever. That may be a tag in mine. Denmark High School. I know that's one like people look after a lot, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, you can tag by individual schools. Yeah, absolutely. The question is it scalable though? Because if you have a database of 1,000 people and one person has that tag, is it worth it? How would you broaden that so that you can reuse it? And it's okay to have very specific tags too, as long as it's going to be effective for you. Because if you specialize in a certain neighborhood or a certain farm, you may go hyper local with some of these bad boys. Now I kind of tricked you up a little bit because I use golf and tennis, but what about amenities inside a home? Features inside a home? Gated community? First floor master?
I was going to say that.
I'll shut up. I'll give you more time, Emily. Yeah. Could be the type of home.
Open floor plan, like
floor
just
plan.
an open kitchen.
Closed
Like-
floor plan. Man, I tell you what, I lived in an open floor plan before COVID. Couldn't do that now. I'm working from home. Noisy kids wouldn't work.
That's true.
I need like,
Yeah.
and you may see this now too. A lot of like buyer profiles are adjusting. You may need like office, maybe an amenity now, fifth bedroom, like
That's a
utility space.
great point, Sam.
My buyer is also asking for finished basements
Mhm.
for extra space.
That's a perfect one. And generally that used to be for storage. Now it could be for a home gym, could be for an office.
I have to look up the exact stats, but I saw I forget which company it came out and said that the square footage that consumers are searching for, you know, they can search the minimums and maximums,
Mhm.
have increased considerably since COVID, and the search results for, or the search inquiries for pool and is way up, right? Home renovations is way up, right? Open floor plan is actually way down. Like, it's so interesting that the data can be reviewed to substantiate all the things that we think are probably happening.
Yeah. If you really want an erroneous challenge right now, open up the yellow pages and see if you can find someone to put a pool in for you. Not happening this year, not happening next year. Everyone's like, hey, if I'm going to be at home, I might as well do what I've always said I was going to do and maybe splurge to get that pool in my house now, or you're renovating, exactly as Bill pointed out. Cool. What else?
On that same note, entertainment space in the backyard, entertainment area.
A yard. Yeah, even yard, right? That's a great one. Yeah. Outdoor kitchen. Keep going, Donna. You had good ones there. Bill has his think shirt on today, so I expect him to think a lot.
I might repeat some that you guys have already said, but it could be like any type of, like, you know, like somebody that might be considering a lake house or a mountain house, or maybe is thinking about, you know, Airbnb, or like, it could be anything that you think you can bring to scale, right?
Yeah.
And if you see, you know, like, it could be people that own their own business, right? Like career visioning, for example, Gene Rivers is doing for free next month. If you have a friend that's a business owner completely outside of real estate, they could benefit from that class.
Yeah.
Right. So if you could now take a message that you have and identify the 35 people in your database that message would be valuable for, poof, done.
A business owner tag. Yeah. To that. Yeah. I could easily use that to help get them, you know, leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be the
imagine?
people that are renters in your
Jumping
your
ahead of me,
database.
Bill.
Right.
Jumping ahead of me on my slide deck, but you got it.
Sorry, man. I'm just going to put myself back on mute.
No,
This is
you're good, you're good.
Sam's show.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good. No, but you're right though. Could you imagine the relationship that you would create though if you had a tag that said small business owner or business owner, and you invited somebody to one of the amazing KW courses that we have? The next time you have to reach out to that person, it's not awkward because you're selling them real estate, because you're providing something of serious value that can help them outside of real estate. Take advantage of that. Invite people to training. Anything around the one thing as well, because it's not directly tied to real estate. Those are amazing courses to offer people too.
Yeah, good. That's a good idea.
Cool. All right. Activity level. Man, oh man, I love this one. So activity level, if you're an experienced agent, you should not treat everybody the same in your database. So who is the top referrer? Give that person some type of tag. If they've given you one referral, tag it as such. Because when the going gets tough, like it's probably we're going to see a market shift eventually. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. You're going to want to know, who are my top people that I can count on? When the going gets tough, who in my database can I pull? Who can I call this week to get a referral from? So some examples here would be top referral. Does anyone have a fan on social media that every time you post, you have that one person that loves, likes, comments, everything you do on social media?
My mama.
Yeah, it's my Nana for me. Yeah. Tag them as raving fan or like social media superstar. Like give that person some type of accolade inside your database, because again, if things get tough, if we hit 2008 again and you have a database of 1,000 people, You want to know quickly without having to scan through, who can I rely on for even a pick me up if I need it on some days? Who can I call?
And those
to
might be,
get out of this?
those could be people that, let's say, like, I don't know, let's say you come across Braves tickets or something. You put it out to them first, right? Hey, I got an extra pair of tickets to the game tonight. Who's interested?
Yeah, VIPs.
The cool part about that is, hey, first come, first serve. The cool part about that is you only have one set of tickets, but it's as if you get the benefit of almost having invited everybody.
Yep. Right on. I'll get to that a little bit too, but I think what's really nice too is if you tag people based on their interests. So like, if you know people are into baseball, like you could do a reverse bold 100 that day. So I know a lot of people are giving out like Ring doorbells or like a Roomba that says like call in and, you know, let me know if you have a referral, and you can be entered into a drawing to get a Roomba. If you know that half your database is a fan of Atlanta Braves, go get tickets. You're going to see a higher return if you're giving away things that people like. Cool. All right, next one. Home buying experience. Again, not everybody in your database is created equally. I know we often look at first-time home buyers. Who in your database is a first-time home seller? They do not get the same treatment. Well, let me take that back. They probably get the same treatment in your database, but boy, do they need a lot more attention. They've never sold a home before. That is stressful. They've never been through that process. So tagging them is first-time home buyer, first-time home seller. And some clarity here on my screen. These would be two separate tags for me. I'd have a tag that says past client, and I would have a tag that says X1, X2, X3, X4, X, because there's going to be times that I want to message all of my past clients, but there's going to be times that, like Bill was saying, that VIP treatment, I want to specifically reach out to only the people that I've sold with 5 times. They're going to get that extra, you know, white glove treatment if they've been a past client X 5 times. So I have past client as a tag, and then X whatever as a separate one. What else? Home buying experience. Did I miss anything? First time home buyer, first time home seller.
And you could tag people that, like, maybe you met through an open house or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, open house. Absolutely. As the source, the lead source. Now, let me ask you the question. How would you use one of these tags? How would you use a past client tag? If I wanted to market or message them, what would that look like?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry, I was writing.
So I just want to ask the question of, like, if we're going to tag our database, right? Like, we just don't want these tags to be on there just to label people. How would you use this tag to your advantage? If I have 1,000 people in my database, and let's say 10 of them are labeled as past client, what messaging would I send to just this subgroup? How would I market to them? What would I want to say to these people? What would my strategy be? How would I use this tag to get more business?
Let's just say something dealing with seasonal. Like, have you done your spring cleaning or something like that? I don't know if that's the correct answer. But kind of just like, trying to drum up conversation and offer something really basic, but it's just like, okay, 5 tips with spring cleaning, or something with flowers, or something of that nature. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's see where this goes, so they can remember you again.
Yeah. Perfect. That's a great thing that I think that a lot of real estate agents have done for a long time. That's consistent and wonderful. What about like home anniversaries? If they were a past client and I knew when they moved in, we could not only celebrate that with a touch, a drop by, or even a phone call, but giving them a CMA anniversary of, when we hit this time on the calendar, I pull up my past clients maybe every month and I say, okay, for the month of October, these are all of my people that I have as a past client. And these are the ones specifically that, either bought and sold with me a year ago, 2 years ago, and send them the information that reflects today's market. Andy Peters and the Peters Company, they do this quite well. They do, annual CMAs. It's just like, hey, you bought with me last year, but this is what it's worth now. What is a better touch? It's time to stage your house for spring, or, hey, this is how much money you can make if you're to sell your house today.
The money one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't be afraid to interact, y'all.
Yeah, jump on. All right, next one. Specialty. This one's an easy one. This one's low-hanging fruit, but it's also really, really helpful. Knowing what your client might be interested in. Commercial, luxury. My God, are we becoming a global economy? Marking people as international. Is this person looking to invest in the United States or somewhere else? Or maybe they're international looking to invest in the United States. I know we have more than a few of those. Are they looking for land? Are they an investor? Are they a landlord? Are they a tenant? What are the specialties? What am I missing?
Would that be where you had like a business owner, let's say, or somebody that maybe was an investor, or
Could be. I mean, my slide deck is not the end all be all. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's probably things that fit in between those, but yeah, you'd fit them into this bucket essentially of, business owner. Yeah. Investor.
Let's just say you had travel agents or just a client, a luxury client who liked to travel, and a property hit the market in Costa Rica, like just kind of keeping them just abreast of what's going on in different areas. Like, hey,
I love that. I'll tell you exactly how I'll use that in a little bit. Yeah, you're onto something there. You're absolutely onto something. It's important to know what people's hobbies and interests are as well. 100%.
like if they like going on golf trips or ski trips, or they like to play poker, or they like to go to Las Vegas, or
Man, all the above. Yes, me.
they like going to theater performances or that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Kind of a similar segue. I call this my pets and more category. Can someone do me a favor? Because I'm looking for participation. Today is September 11th, which is an odd day to do this one. Can you do me a favor and look up September 11th, 2020 national holidays? And I know that we're going to be recognizing September 11th, but I can guarantee you there's probably another random holiday today.
So we got Patriot Day. Did you say that already?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's to recognize September 11th. Yeah, Patriot Day. What else do we got?
National Make Your Bed Day.
Make your bed day. Okay.
Are you serious?
That is so cute. National Make Your Bed Day.
Yeah. What else, Rhonda? Was it Rhonda or?
That was Tawantis.
Tawantis.
I haven't seen that one.
I mean, either.
What else? There's got to be like probably 6 more.
Yeah, I'm just looking at tomorrow. It's National Chocolate Milkshake Day
Nice.
and National Video Games Day.
Okay, let's use that one. Let's use the video games day. A lot of millennials are home buyers now, and there's a lot of millennial men that especially just play video games all day, every day. If you tag people,
September 4th was National Lazy Moms Day.
I would not use that as a touch.
Oh, we can't. The moms can't do anything on that day.
I would.
No, you send it to all the husbands, and you say you better give your wife the day off.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to call out all the lazy moms. You
You think I'm an idiot, Sam?
hey, I thought it was an invitation to be lazy on that day.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's Mother's Day, isn't it? You get 2 of those now?
Mother's Day, it doesn't count.
Dan, you're getting controversial.
I'm in the line. I'm teetering it. One of my favorites though, when I did this is we looked it up and it was National Tooth Fairy Day. And again, it's a stretch. Like, what the heck would you use that for, right? Imagine if you had your database tagged on their occupation and you had, 5 dentists in your database, and you just sent them a text that said, "Hey, happy National Tooth Fairy Day. Thanks for keeping my teeth above my pillow, not below it." Made me think of you.
I like it.
You can use these touches for these random holidays to your advantage all the time. Be careful though, because if you're not consistently touching your database and you're just the weird realtor that celebrates obscure holidays, you're going to do more damage than good. Use these when you feel like you haven't touched your database, but pay attention to them occasionally. You may hit a certain group like the dentist on Tooth Fairy Day that's a really good personal touch. You may get some good people on National Video Games Day or Chocolate Milkshake Day. I don't know how you'd use that one, but I don't know. If you have somebody who owns an ice cream parlor, that would be a good touch. Or it could be a good way just to celebrate your database. It says like, hey, I've partnered up with Shake Shack and, use this code for 10% off. Happy National Milkshake Day from your favorite realtor. If you plan ahead with enough of these and look in advance, you can do some cool stuff with it.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. But again, just be careful. Don't celebrate obscure holidays too often.
No, you're doing math, Miss Becca, at 1:30.
Cool. Does everyone in their
hey
database...
Sam, we missed National Wiener Schnitzel Day.
Well, I was going to say that's a
That was Wednesday.
Is Wiener Schnitzel a dog or is that the German food? I always get them confused.
Oh, it's also National 401k Day today.
That should be on the 21st every month for KW.
Yeah, seriously.
But so like either it's you or somebody in your database of your family probably loves their pets more than their kids or loves their pets as their kids. Like we have pet parents, right? And there's no judgment there. Imagine if you celebrated whatever pet day that was for them. If you reached out and said like, hey, pet parent, just made me think of you. Your favorite realtor, happy wag your tail day or whatever it happened to be. You can give these personal touches outside of real estate and still make an impact on those people's lives. Because if you're on the receiving end of that and it was something that you were passionate about, you would think that your realtor cares about you. And that's what we're trying to do here is get in personal relationships that can turn into transactional relationships. And just doing a simple tag like pet mom or pet parent in your database can help you get those touches out. It's also a good way to discover what would be a good closing gift for your client. So if you know that they're really into, wine drinking, this could be a good tag that I just use for the purpose of closing gift. It just helps me. Cool. Association. So what are some of the associations you guys belong to? I belong to both a biker gang and a knitting club. What other associations might you tag your database with?
I would love to see some pictures of that.
Yeah, no, both of those are false. I have no balance and I have no dexterity. What else? What associations might you tag your database from?
This could be like, Boy Scouts or,
Nailed it.
it could be something where you put like, probably not like, it's not necessarily an association, but like hobbies. I don't know if that's part of your slide deck, but like things like, does this family like to go fishing? Do they like to go water skiing? Do they like to go to the beach?
Yeah. That's my next slide. So you kind of nailed it. So I was thinking, so like a lot of times when you join the Boy Scouts or, even like a church directory, when you belong to, one of those memberships, they give you the directory. Like when my son plays soccer, I got the family roster of like, hey, here's all their contact information for the parents in case you need a carpool. I'm not going to let that data just sit out there. I'm going to put it in my database and tag it as like, Colt League baseball or whatever makes sense to me. Whatever women's networking group I belong to, or, whatever HOA, a lot of HOAs have these directories too. You want to put that information in command and tag those people as the association. Because you have to be careful. If we're just blasting everything out to everybody in our database and you accidentally abuse that use of it, people in your HOA are going to get mad at you and they're not going to not use you. So the goal is if I tag my HOA, I'm going to talk to them differently than the rest of my database. Or if I'm going to talk to the subgroup differently than the rest of my database, because you want to be careful to not only hit them effectively, but you also don't want to abuse that relationship because that information was kind of given freely to you because you belong to one of those groups. What else? Does that make sense? The associations? Where'd your mind go to? What were you thinking?
I was thinking like school directories and PTA. I know when my kids were at Queen of Angels, they had a school directory of all the families.
Yeah. So how would you tag them? What would you tag them as?
I would probably just do it by the school name.
Yeah.
Queen of Angels.
Yep. That way, that's how you know that group. And then two, you can use command even outside of real estate to communicate. If you're actively involved, it's no problem to just set them up on a smart plane that has no attachment to real estate. That just makes it easier to communicate with them if you're involved in that community. Why not? Why have a whole separate system to run your personal life? What else? Is this helpful? You guys are going internal thinking a little bit?
It is. I've been thinking, like association, ladies who lunch. Like, let's just say that you have a group of people, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Put them there and send them coupons. I don't know.
Yeah. Text them.
Hey, Ben.
Once a month, I would send out like, hey, I'm not trying to abuse this group. I am in real estate. Here's just what I want to share with you. And like you have a monthly smart plan that goes out to just that group with that message, but it's still specific to them. Cool. See, I have one more. Sorry, my slide deck is jumping around. No, go back. Okay, hobby. So this is another one too. So Ebony, you kind of brought up the point of like, if I know somebody's into travel, this would be another way that I would use this. So I want to get to know people. I want to get to know, what are they doing for fun? Do they like tennis? Do they like going on boats? Do they collect things? Because again, this is going to help me. I can tie most of these back to real estate. If I know that they're into tennis and the boats, I could send them a tennis community and a house on Lake Lanier. And that's still an effective way to tie in what I do in real estate to what they like as a hobby. I'm not missing the mark completely, just blanketing listings to them. And then two, like collecting, if I know that they're collecting certain things, I can give a very high personal pop buy to them to help anchor that relationship, or it could be an excellent closing gift. How else? What about travel? If you know somebody's into traveling and specifically they like a tropical vacation spot, how would you use that?
It could be like a deal on a, cruise trip or like an all-inclusive or.
Right. Yeah. You can go that path. Like I can share them great insights. Another way to do that too is that if I know somebody is really into the beach, and let's say that I have, 500 people in my database that are tagged as like tropical or water based on however you use it. If I'm looking to make a real estate touch, what I could do is say, and this is going to go to everybody, all 500 people. Hey, Bill, I just so happened to see this new listing that hit the market on, Lake Lanier. I know it's no tropical destination with sandy beaches, but it was on water. It made me think of you. Let me know if you hit the lottery, go take a look at this one. And it's a great way to tie what their personal connection is with you based on your conversations into real estate. And again, they may not be looking at that property in Lake Lanier, but I'm anchoring my conversations and what I know about that person back into real estate. It's just a very subtle touch. And they'd be like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. We're looking to sell our house. How convenient that you're talking about real estate. It takes the pressure off of not having to use those cold scripts anymore if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate. And let me walk you through the Ford model on how to do that. I'll come back to the DTD too. But the Ford model is how you can have these conversations with folks to basically complete two things. I want to see if I can get them to share a need for real estate. And if they don't have a need for real estate, I'm using this conversation to get the data and the tags out of them so that I can use that to my advantage later on. So Ford, this is a concept that we've had for a couple of years now. It's been shared a lot within Bold. So if you really want to master this, go to Bold. But Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And it's not so much a script of, hey, this is Sam Jackson with Keller Williams looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate. It's more of a path through a conversation that says, when I pick up the phone and I call Bill, I want to ask him, how's his family? How's his job? What is it he's doing for fun these days? What does he hope to do in the future? Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And it becomes really, really easy to uncover these real estate needs based on this. So let me ask the question, why do people move? Why do people buy and sell houses? Why do they move? It's not for fun.
They have a child.
Yeah.
Work,
Maybe
relocation.
They're getting divorced, life change.
Yep. Keep going.
Upgrading,
There's about 80 of these
downgrading.
School zone.
Yeah. Why are people upgrading and downgrading? What kicks that off? Because that's the second.
Generally, they have it's around either money, right? They got a promotion, they want a bigger house, or it's about they have a different space need. Like they have a need for more space, or they have a need for less space.
Added a family, lost a family member. That's usually what kicks it off, right?
Yeah, like empty nester. Like that 5-bedroom house, you may not need that anymore.
That's a lot to clean. Yeah. Yeah. So what I heard in between the lines of all those things, family and occupation, everything that you guys just mentioned is because something happened in their family lifestyle, something happened in their occupation lifestyle. That's the first domino that kicks this whole thing off. So if you have this guide of talking about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, I can call my entire database and just sound like I'm having a personal conversation, but I'm mining for these things in between family and occupation that tells me there's a real estate need. Because if I say, hey, Bill, how's the family? Well, great, we just had another child. Well, I know statistically speaking, you're gonna probably have a need for more space in the next 2 years. And for those who don't know,
that's assertive right there, Sam.
well, there's, I don't know if you guys know this, but like I think it's September, NAR comes out with these stats on like the buyer and seller profiles. And it's amazing. Every year, these stats never change. Like there's as solid as the sands of time. If you know who's pregnant in your database, you'll know who has a real estate need, because it says that every single year, 33% of couples move between the 1 year before the birth or the 1 year after, that 2 year window. 1 out of every 3 couples move.
So is that a tag?
I don't know that I'd tag pregnant in my database, but I'm going to use this to know that they have a real estate need. The tags are probably going to come more from the R and the D part. But just know that this is another method that if they're uncovering that they're not pregnant, I know that I may not have a real estate need. I'm going to move through the other part of the process of just getting tags. You probably could. I don't know how you get creative with that. What would you tag?
I was just kidding.
No, it could be something you tag for. I would probably want something. I don't think I'd be as obvious as tagging somebody as pregnant in my database. I think that could be probably dangerous.
How about newly married? Like,
yeah, newlyweds.
Not everybody's case, but it's a possibility they may have a baby after you.
Yeah.
Let me check back in.
Here's a slide that I had skipped. It's a whole different system called the pipeline. And this is just basically a tag that I tag everybody as a 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, or a 6 and below. And this tells me when they have a real estate need. So 10 says,
we've actually been talking quite a bit about this type of model.
Yeah. So maybe for like those people who I don't want to tag as pregnant, maybe I call them a 6-. That I don't know their timeline, but I want to have some type of tag on them. Make sense? Because I don't know legally what you could do to get in trouble there, but yeah. All right. So family and friends. So F is, how's the family? How did you meet your spouse? Where is the family now? So these are like your icebreaker questions of like, if I called up Bill and I have a relationship with him, I could say, how's the family doing during COVID? You can ask that to somebody that you know in your database. You could ask that to a complete stranger or coming from care. So don't worry about if that's sphere of influence or not. I can say, hey, Bill, how's the family? Now, if I know Bill specifically, and we've had many conversations, our relationship goes back. Bill, I was just thinking about the other day, like I just celebrated my 8th wedding anniversary. How'd you meet your wife?
Just as a sidebar, guy, that may seem a little like an odd question, but it's not at all. Like people, especially now in the world of COVID, they're like dying to have these like conversations with people, and you're giving them a platform to talk about themselves, which they want to do anyway.
The key thing, this is what people strive for more than any other connection right now: authenticity.
Yeah.
They can get, their dopamine dump anywhere online right now with a million different things, with shopping or whatever it is. If you can have an authentic conversation with somebody right now in these moments, it's going to go a long way with not only your relationship with them as a person, but as a business as well. Be authentic. And again, Ebony, you kind of brought up the point of like, I could send them, the seasonal stage or, prep your house for winter type of stuff. That stuff is good for a general touch, but if you can have very specific conversations that says, how's your family? You're going to do more good for your database, getting to know your database, getting to know that individual within your database. Cool. So your icebreaker, your conversation is, how's the family? If you don't know them, how's the family? How's the job? Next one, occupation. For somebody who's new, like a random internet lead that you may have, hey, just remind me, what line of work are you in? How is that impacted by COVID? Are you working from home? And why is that question so important?
Because it gets them talking about home.
Yeah. So Bill, or Ebony, you came off mute. Let's role play that. Ebony, are you working from home?
Yes, I am.
How's that going for you?
Oh gosh.
I know for me, it's hell. My kids are loud. I'm trying to work. Is that the same for you?
The exact same.
Yeah. So there, I'm not going to shoot my shot with Ebony saying like, hey, guess what? I'm in real estate. I'm going to pitch you on a really awkward sales pitch. We had an authentic conversation. Now I'm going to do the bait and switch to talk about real estate. However, I'm going to go back to my database and say, hey, Ebony, based on our last conversation, I happen to see this house that's around the corner from you that went up for sale that has an extra, 300 square feet or a finished basement. Just wondering that, if this is something you'd be interested in based on like a need for extra space in your house. That goes from being a crappy, let me pitch you on real estate real quick touch to, hey, based on our conversation, I was actively listening and this is a need that I can fulfill for you. Do you see how these needs and how real estate can come from just getting to know your people? And I don't know about you, but this is, I find it a lot less stressful, a lot more fun just to get in relationships with people versus scripting them. No offense, Bill, because I'm sure you guys talk a lot about scripts inside of PC, but for me, this is just one other option that I think is just, it feels good to my heart just to get to know people and to connect them with their needs. But first,
Well, I mean,
needs are.
I just want to challenge the thinking on that for a second. This actually is a script, right?
It is.
Everything is a script, right? You're either going to use ones that have models, framework, or proven track record, or you're going to shoot from the hip without any regard to planning or purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So this is in fact a script, right? These are the 4 occupation questions. Memorize them. You will use them.
And I don't know about you, but I help justify this in my head because I always said that I was never a script person. And maybe you've had that self-conflict as well of I'm not a script person, not a script person. I look at this as a guide. If I know that I have to talk about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, I can use any variation of these. And you're right, that to get ultimately it's a script. But for me, I'd sleep better at night knowing that I'm not scripting. That's easier for you.
Yeah, it's
and now I won't be invited back to Bill's PC program.
No, you know what? What I found myself doing before I embraced scripting was saying the same thing over anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I could tweak it to be rooted in some type of like evidence-based, psychology-based system, then I ended up having better results.
Yeah.
Like, it's this type of framework that gives me the leeway within the script, if you will.
The freedom. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Choose your own adventure in the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, before I move on, because we're going to talk about recreation and dreams, I just want you to know that it's a script, it's a system, it's a model, whatever you want to call it. FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. We know that people move because of family and occupation. Do not feel pressured to go down the path of recreation and dreams. Only if the flow feels good should you move on from family and occupation. Because we know it's worth spending the time digging really, really deep with these 2 like buckets, because we know that's where most likely our real estate needs will come up from. Because if I say, hey, Bill, how's the family? And he talks about his immediate family, and there's no real estate need there, and I just move on to occupation, I don't talk about his extended family, like his sister who may be pregnant, I missed my shot because I didn't stay in family long enough. And again, you have to know who you're talking to. It's going to work better with people that you know that you have permission to like go down that path to talk about Bill's sister. Bill, do you even have a sister?
I do.
Okay. It's good to know some of these things before you kind of jump off. You can say like, hey, remind me of your family again. Like, how large is your family? How many brothers and sisters do you have? That kind of type of conversation is really easier on the holidays, because then people get nostalgic and say like, hey, what were your traditions? What'd you do as a family? Hey, how big is your family? How many,
Right. And it could also be things like for example, I was on the phone with somebody today and there's a lot of like kind of noisy kids in the background. and it gave me an opportunity to say, oh, so tell me about your family. I hear some children in the back.
Exactly.
Right. Or maybe their Zoom has like a, some, like some type of certificate, or, a picture of somebody playing golf, or, some picture of, some artist or whatever. You recognize what you see, right? It's there for a reason. They want to talk about it.
Active listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. But do not feel the pressure to jump into recreation and drinking. Okay, if you end the conversation never talking about them. Just want to point that out. But recreation looks like this. And again, these are canned things that I've used forever. But to adjust this for today's times, you should probably pull up Facebook while you're calling this person. See what they've recently posted. Let that be your leeway into, hey, I saw you went to France. How was your trip? And haha, no one's left the United States in a while. But hey, did you have any plans, or trips planned before COVID? Were you able to go on vacation this year? What are you doing for a staycation? What do you hope to do whenever this whole COVID thing's done? What are you doing now that you didn't do before COVID? I started walking every day. Didn't do that before COVID. Have you seen any movies? I saw Mulan just hit Disney Plus. Did you watch it? Again, it's a way to get an idea on a path to open up those tags that we talked about. Because then you can start tagging your database based on these things that we uncover from here. So travel may come up from this. Tropical may come up from this. Tennis may come up from this. And again, then I can tie it back into real estate, that if I know someone is actively playing tennis, or they're now working out when they didn't before, I can tie that into real estate of like, hey, I saw this house and it looks great for a home gym. Dreams. What are your plans for the summer? I know your son's going to graduate next spring. What are your plans after that? Is there anything on the bucket list you're going to knock off this year? My favorite dream script, because this is a really intimate conversation that you typically only have with your spouse. And this is a great one because you guys are in real estate and you're in your car all the time. Hey, Bill, I just happened to be driving down the interstate and I just passed the billboard that said the Powerball is up to $400 bazillion. What would you do if you hit that? What'd you do, Bill?
What would I do? I think I would go, I think I'd go to Thailand.
Thailand. All right. So there's a tag. I'm tagging Bill as probably tropical. I don't know much about Thailand. Asian travel. I don't know, whatever you tag that as. Why Thailand? What are you looking to accomplish there?
That's a great question. Scuba diving, massages,
Boom.
food.
Now I have them tagged as scuba diving, Thai food, massages. Bill, so when you're done, when you come back from Thailand, would you still work? Nope. You have 400 bazillion or whatever number I made up.
Probably not.
What would you do for fun then? Because you have a lot of time on your hands now.
I would play a lot of golf.
Tag.
I would go swimming with the kids.
Tag.
I would go skiing.
Tag.
I would do a lot of travel.
Tag.
I would drink a lot of coffee.
Coffee. That's not what I'd be drinking high in alcohol at that point. Good. And then you can keep going on that path too of, would you stay in Georgia? Like, not to call you crazy, but like, would you still live in Georgia?
Probably would.
Yeah. Would you buy a secondary home anywhere?
Yes, several. I'd probably buy one in Colorado. I'd buy one in Fiji.
And there's your touch, by the way, for just a monthly touch for referral partners of, hey, I know one day you hope to move outside of Georgia. Just to let you know that anytime, any place, I can refer you to an agent out of anywhere in Keller Williams. So whether it's in Colorado or I think we have an office in Thailand, just give me a call first. I can connect you with the top real estate agents. So even if Bill's not moving, I'm tying in that I can still help him out from a referral basis. It's good to note all of these things. And again, just like the strength of your data inside your database is how more effective this will be. Bill, last question for you. Promise me, this isn't really a question, it's a statement, but promise me that if you were to move to Colorado after hitting the $400 bazillion jackpot, you're going to use me as your real estate agent, right?
Oh yeah, I'll even buy you a little piece of property on my land.
Now, I'm not going to ask for handouts. Like I'm not that guy, Bill, but just know that I just ask that you think of me first when it comes to real estate when you hit that jackpot.
Yep, you're my guy.
Got it. And if you want to close the conversation with that tie into real estate, that's you shooting your shot.
Did any of that sound salesy to you guys?
All of it. None of it. None of it. And I think that's the fun of this. And the great thing too is you're doubling down that now that I have these tags and I can put people in these buckets, I can then take the sales part and make it uber personal. Even my follow-up now is not going to be sales pitchy. It's, hey, I'm a master of real estate. I was looking at the market and this made me think of you. Write this down. This made me think of you. That's the script you're going to use over and over and over again, because if you're getting these relationships, you can use that phrase at scale.
That's a good one.
I happened to be walking by the dog park, saw this house for sale, made me think of you. I happened to drive by the billboard for $400 bazillion and made me think of you.
Yep. I
That's
was
a
at the liquor
personal-
store and I saw a bottle of scotch, made me think of you.
36 touches gets really easy whenever everything makes me think of you.
All right, Sam, you got a captive audience here. What type of advice do you have? I think one of the challenges that we face with respect to technology is like we can spend a week coming up with all these like micro tags for all of our people, right?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if you don't get into conversations with people, it ain't gonna make a bit of difference.
That's it. So my walking advice is change the way that you're calling your database just today, just for the rest of the afternoon. You'll call 5 people and use the Ford model. See if you get one real estate lead based on using the Ford model just this afternoon. How's the family? How's the job? What are you doing to stay sane in COVID? What are your dreams when this whole thing ends? 4 questions. Let me know if you get any business from that. Go call 5 people each.
Yep.
I'd be curious.
Yeah, and because if you ask the Ford model to them, what are they going to do? They're going to do the exact same thing back to you. How's your family? How's your work? Are you working from home?
Well, let me ask this. Let me ask the question too. Have you ever used I don't want to say the old scripts, but have you ever used the sales scripts of, hey, Bill, this is Sam. Are you looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate? Know anyone? Can you refer me to anyone that's looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate? When you use that crappy script, the next time you call that person, they're not picking up. But if I call you and I say, how's the family? How's the job? How's everything? The next time I call back, you're going to pick up again because I'm coming from contribution. I'm coming from care. These are care calls, not cold calls.
Yeah.
It's going to change your world.
Sam, this has been so helpful. We've already got a bunch of feedback behind the scenes. I really appreciate your time today, sir.
You got it. Anytime.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for everything you're doing for us. You got awesome idea after awesome idea, and I'm just grateful to know you and to be in business together. So thank you.
I love you, Bill. I love you. You're the man.
Oh, come on now. Donna, you can stop the recorder, and y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Thanks, Donna.